Hello! Thank you for stepping up to lead the Reflections program for your school PTA. Today, we will be discussing the basic procedures for local PTA leaders coordinating the Reflections program at the school level. I would like to take a moment to thank you for supporting Texas PTA and the countless volunteer hours you provide to bring PTA programs such as Reflections to the students on your campuses. Reflections would not be as successful or the longest and oldest PTA program without your support. Georgia O'Keeffe describes her art as her language. I found I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way, things I had no words for. This is why the Reflections program is meaningful. The arts are critical to the learning process and partners in educating our children. The Reflections program provides an opportunity for all students to explore and express themselves through the many facets of the arts. You will find many Reflections entries showcased throughout this presentation from past years, including this one from Kashatan, a high schooler from Spring Branch ISD, and one of our outstanding interpretation winners. During this training, we will first focus on understanding and walking through Reflections. Our goal is that you will be confident in hosting the program as well as being able to field questions from your families and students. We will look at how Reflections can support students' success outside of the program and how art connects families within their communities. Did you know that there is a free turnkey parent education program titled The Value of Arts Education, Why It's Important for Your Child? This is a benefit as a PTA. This program can be downloaded from the Texas PTA website and presented at one of your meetings for the families in your district or on your local campuses. So moving on, we will first review the Texas PTA mission statement. Keep in mind that we are PTA members who have committed ourselves to fulfill Texas and national PTA's mission. We honor the values and fulfill the purposes by serving in the role of a Reflections program coordinator. Take a look at the words. Nowhere in the mission is fundraising mentioned. We really want to make sure we are communicating who we are and what we do at every opportunity as we introduce a program, do the Reflections kickoff, celebrate our students, etc. This will help others understand why membership is so important. It makes our voice louder as we advocate. The Reflections program promotes the welfare of children in schools and the collaboration and engagement of families and educators. Given the challenges of our time, investing in our children's mental and emotional well-being is crucial. Access to the arts is more important than ever. The Reflections program provides a valuable opportunity to do just that on your campus. Did you know the Reflections program is over 55 years old? The program continues today as our cornerstone arts program to engage nearly 300,000 students in pre-K through 12th grade each year. Reflections is one of the nation's oldest and largest student recognition programs in the arts. So, we should all be very proud to be a part of this great legacy. Let's talk about the current theme for the year. Before we discuss the Reflections program, let's take a look at how National PTA selects the theme that students center their Reflections entries around each year. They host a nationwide theme search contest, and any student, pre-K through 12th grade, is eligible to participate with no limit on how many themes they may suggest. As you might already know, this year's theme is What My Culture Means to Me. This year's theme was submitted by Sophia Pardola from Wilton High School PTSA in Connecticut. Sophia's theme will be used to inspire hundreds of thousands of artists across the nation as they participate in the PTA Reflections art program. Congratulations to Sophia and Connecticut State PTA on this achievement. The National PTA Theme Search Contest is currently on hiatus. There will be no theme search contest during the 2026 to 2027 program cycle. During the hiatus, National PTA will develop an updated contest structure and process to improve overall efficiency and contest participation. Now let's dive into the Reflections program itself. First things first, where do we find all of the materials? You will find Texas-specific guidelines and forms in the Reflections area of the Texas PTA website. You should start on the Leader Resources page, which is dedicated to program coordinators. From there, you can toggle to the other pages on the menu. Texas PTA has tailored the Reflections guidelines just a bit, so it is important to download from Texas PTA's website rather than the National PTA site. The main difference is that Texas PTA will only accept 2D entries in the visual arts category, and National PTA has started allowing 3D entries. We have asked that National PTA separate the two formats as they are wildly different and hard to compare. Until then, we will continue to only accept entries in 2D. If you do not wish to download all of the rules and forms to post on your own PTA's website, you can simply share the link to our eligibility and participation page. There, the student or family can download a packet with everything included in one PDF. Need posters, flyers, or logos to promote your program? Visit the promotional materials page. We have some items created for you, or you are welcome to create your own. What we will focus on today is the local PTA leader checklist, which is the first link at the top of the leader resources page. This checklist is a guide to help you prepare for reflections, execute the program, and advance your entries to the next level of judging. There are two different documents, so you will want to ensure you have downloaded the one for local coordinators and not the one for council coordinators. The variance is that the local document has procedures for you at the school PTA to advance your entries to the district level, and the council document is for the district level of reflections to advance to the state level. The procedures for each level are slightly different. You will notice the first paragraph is about PTA eligibility. Hosting the Reflections program is a benefit of having a PTA on your campus. You will need to ensure that your PTA attains active status by October 31st to be eligible for state and national level reflections judging. To attain active status, your PTA must do the following by October 31st. 1. Remit to Texas PTA state and national membership dues for at least 20 members. 2. Submit to Texas PTA the name and contact information of at least one current board member, preferably the president. Local PTAs must comply with all of the following standards to remain in good standing with Texas PTA. 1. Maintain active status with Texas PTA. 2. Review local PTA bylaws and standing rules, if applicable, every 3 years and submit to Texas PTA for approval. 3. Each year, electronically file and have accepted by the IRS the Form 990 return of organization exempt from income tax. It is important to work closely with your fellow board members to check on the status of your PTA. You will also notice on this slide that we do have a route for a student to participate in reflections, even though they do not attend a school supported by a PTA or are homeschooled. If you are approached by a family in this situation, please connect them with Carrie Mays at programs@txpta.org to receive deadlines and instructions. They will need to join Lone Star statewide PTA by October 31st to participate. The next section lists a reflections timeline, and there are a few things to consider when establishing your deadlines. You will first need to connect with the next level of judging to learn what your advancing deadline will be. If you do not know how to contact your council PTA or if your PTA is not within a council, please reach out to Carrie Mays for assistance. You will also need to confirm how they would like to receive the entries, digitally, physically, or a hybrid of both formats. You can still choose a different format for your program, but what advances will need to be converted to what the council is requesting. There is a guide for how to host a virtual reflections program available on the Leader Resources page. There are many great tips and ideas that will help you to organize your digital program. I do think that transitioning to a virtual program has widened our possibilities and helped to reach a larger audience. Most entries are already in a digital format, like photos, literature, music, dance, and film. Also, both Texas and National PTA are accepting digital signatures, so student entry forms can be typed. This also eliminates the issue with deciphering young handwriting and forms that are hard to get a good scan or copy of. Digital judging can be conducted anywhere in the world. Simply make the entries and scorecard available, and the judge can log in to judge on their own schedule. Finally, both Texas and National PTA hosted digital judging. So even if you are sending a physical entry, it will be converted to a digital entry for judging. You will see that Reflections is somewhat of a year-round program. Be sure to follow through and celebrate students as their entries progress through the different judging levels. Keep up the excitement, and more students will want to participate the following year. Texas PTA will release the next year's forms by the end of June. But you already know the next theme, so you can immediately announce the theme before school lets out, so that students can be working on their projects over the summer. Here is a more visual example of the basic reflections timeline. Once you have your advancing entry due date, you will want to back your student's deadline out at least 4 weeks prior. This will give you ample time to process the entries, get them organized, and host a judging prior to advancing them to the next level. Did you know that September and October both celebrate the arts? We know that the arts impact more than children's creativity, such as academic performance, their engagement in school, but my most favorite is by promoting problem-solving skills. Utilize these annual celebrations to highlight your Reflections program and the students who participate. Arts and Education Week is always in September. You could plan something centered around the arts for each day that week. Be creative and think outside of the box. Ask the students to show their creative side. Make it fun and tie it back to your Reflections program. October is National Arts and Humanities Month. It was established to raise awareness around what role arts and humanities play in our communities and lives. Reflections can play an impactful role in a student and family's life, as well as their communities. This is another great opportunity to build a relationship with local organizations and businesses. If you have already received some Reflections entries, you could also showcase these to encourage more students to participate and celebrate those students who completed their projects early. Again, be creative and find ways to incorporate the arts into the school day without interrupting schedules too much or often. With anything, you should speak with the principal about your plan and get their blessing first. We would love to see what you come up with, so please do share. If you are able, you could post on social media using the hashtags Arts in Education or PTA Reflections. While we only require one board member to be on file with Texas PTA, it is helpful if all positions are registered, including those that may not be officially on the board. If they lead a committee such as Reflections, Arts in Education, Healthy Lifestyles, and Parent Ed, we utilize the contact list to send important communications and newsletters aimed at those leaders. Please encourage all leaders to register themselves through the Texas PTA website. Now that we know the basic timeline, let's discuss your committee formation. As the coordinator, don't feel like you must be the person to complete every task. Ask other PTA volunteers or parents to help with hosting the program. Especially parents of students who are passionate about participating in the program. Their parents might be just as passionate about arts and education. Possible ways you could split up the tasks are: finding someone to be the publicist. This person could work with teachers, student leaders, and community partners to promote Reflections. Maybe you have a computer whiz on your board. They can help track student participation information and complete required paperwork, such as the advancing entrance spreadsheet. Ask someone to help be your judging coordinator. They can recruit judges, collect artwork, and help host the judging event. Finally, you could use an award specialist. They can help coordinate with community and school leaders to exhibit the entries, plan the award ceremony, or ask local businesses to donate student prizes, etc. Now that you have your team in place, make certain to communicate the plan and to keep in touch to ensure all of the required tasks are met by their deadlines. Now you are ready to start promoting your program. Texas PTA has created a flyer and poster in both English and Spanish that you could customize with your PTA's program information. You are also welcome to create your own materials. But the possibilities are endless when it comes to promoting the program. You could host an art night to kick things off. Maybe ask the art teacher or a local store if they can help provide some basic art supplies where students can create or start their entries while attending. Don't forget the other categories as well. Maybe some other parents, high school groups, or teachers can help introduce dancing, music, film, photography, and literature. Arts and Education Week is in September. This is a great time to kick off the program. You could host a reflections booth at back-to-school night, a trunk or treat, an art supply swap, or arts day in the park with invited vendors and sponsors. Do you have a mascot? You could create a short film featuring them introducing the program and its categories. Then post on your PTA's social media or showcase on your school's announcements. If allowed, create a space in the school to advertise and distribute reflections information. Getting the students involved to create a banner could be fun as well. Encourage students to explore looking at the theme from many different perspectives. Utilize all your resources. Not all promotion has to be in person or large family events. You can do so much with virtual promotion as well. Your PTA probably has a social media feed that you could advertise on. Does your PTA send newsletters? Ask to include reflections information. One thing that came out of COVID was that students became more well-versed in online classes and meetings. Maybe you could offer a virtual masterclass with local artists in specific areas such as drawing or painting techniques, storyboarding and writing, film or dance methods. You could form a virtual helpline on specific tasks, such as completing their student entry form or preparing files for digital advancement. Probably the best way to get reflections buy-in is to get your principal and teachers on board first. Ask to join a staff meeting before they plan their lesson plans for the year. You can promote the program and ask the teachers to add it to their curriculum in some way. This could be a writing prompt, art, dance, or music theme, etc. Here is an example of how that could work in your favor. For many districts, 4th graders focus on writing throughout the year. If they use the reflections theme as one of the writing prompts, you could end up with hundreds of literature entries. Once the literature piece is written, the student will then have the option to submit into reflections. Look for other ways on your campus to tie things back to a reflections promotion. Let's now break down how students participate in the reflections program. Did you know that when National PTA started the reflections program, they only introduced 3 categories? The original program also did not include the accessible arts category. That was added in 2012 to provide accommodations for students with disabilities. Today, there are 6 arts categories. If you are new to hosting the program and that seems too much for you to tackle, you are welcome to customize your program by choosing how many arts categories you would like to include. Although if a student decided to enter the category you are not promoting, you should not discourage them from participating. Simply collect the entry and move it along to the next level. If there is only one entry, you can advance it without judging. The great thing about Reflections is its wide-open invitation for art expressions. Students are not limited to pick one category or limited on how many entries they can enter into each category. Each category has an in-depth set of rules outlining what is acceptable and what would not be accepted. All entries must be new and inspired by the current theme. And each entry must be the work of one student only. Group entries are not allowed. While Reflections is structured like a contest, it is actually an arts program. The beauty of that is that we do not have to disqualify entries if they stray away from the rules a bit. If there is time, please use that as a teaching moment and work with the student to get the entry back within the guidelines. If the student does not wish to make any changes, the entry can be judged as is and awarded, but would not be eligible to advance to the next level of judging. One item that National PTA added to the rules is a better explanation about prohibiting the use of generative elements like algorithmic techniques and artificial intelligence when creating the entry. For example, while a music composition can be created using digital technology and/or software to develop, enhance, and/or present an entry, the software may not provide the primary design and/or concept. Entrants must provide a brief description of the tools and methods used when creating their piece, including any generative elements. What is the difference between a photographic collage and a photomontage? A photography collage is made from pasting together multiple photographs, clippings, or other pre-printed materials to create a whole new image. This type of artwork should be categorized as a visual arts entry. A photomontage is a seamless print of multiple original photos taken by the student. These photos should be combined and produced digitally using a photo editing software. This type of artwork should be categorized as a photography entry. Now, let's look at how the program is divided into grade divisions. Entries should be grouped into one of the 5 grade divisions for judging. If your school spans multiple divisions, each group should be judged separately. National PTA's Accessible Arts Division is an option for students who identify as having a disability and may receive services under IDEA or ADA, Section 504. Participating as an accessible artist allows them to have the opportunity and accommodations they may need in order to participate fully in the program. The division offers modified rules and guidelines to ensure that every student has the chance to be part of the Reflections program. Qualification is verified with their parent's signature, and you should not ask for proof of disability. Although, if you believe that this was checked on the student entry form erroneously, you could first try to consult their teacher, and if needed, discuss the concern with the parent. We have, on occasion, received an entry at the state level under the Accessible Arts Division that should not have been there, and had to withdraw the entry at the last minute. Students have the option to enter either the Accessible Arts Division or through the traditional grade divisions. Although, they may only enter one or the other and not both. If they enter through the traditional grade level divisions, regardless of age, they may enter in the grade division most closely aligned to their support needs. If entering through the Accessible Arts Division, students create their own artwork but may receive non-artistic accommodation and assistance from an adult. Students who enter through Accessible Arts will be recognized and awarded recognition as part of the Accessible Arts Division. Student entry forms are required to accompany every Reflections entry. If you have chosen to create and utilize a Google form, it must ask all of the same questions and have the exact same wording, including asking for the signatures. A Google form can be very helpful in organizing your digital program. Texas PTA has created a Google form template you can use to replace your paper or PDF student entry form. The link to the template and more instructions can be found on the Reflections Leader Resources page of the Texas PTA website. All parts of the form are required. If you choose to offer the paper or PDF form option, complete the top of the form with your PTA contact information prior to distributing, then you won't have to handwrite the information later. Entries will be judged primarily on how well the student uses his or her artistic vision to portray the theme. Many times, the title and artist's statement will make a huge difference during judging because this is where the artist can explain in their own words their thoughts and feelings for their piece. An explanation of the art form might also be a useful addition to the statement. When verifying membership, if you find that a student or a family member still needs to join, consider this as an opportunity for you to become an ambassador for your PTA and invite them to be a member. And if they have indicated that they need to join, don't forget to circle back and assist them with joining. Decide how you plan to collect the entries at the beginning of the planning process. Whether that is a centralized drop-off location like the library or in the front office. If you are planning to collect digital entries, go ahead and set up the folder or form. You want to be ready as soon as a student has an entry to hand over. Communicate the collection plan along with the deadline so that they go hand in hand. If you want the teachers to help collect, be sure to ask permission from your principal. Once you start receiving entries, take a moment to verify that the student entry form is complete and that the entry follows the guidelines. If you have enough time, try to work with those students who may have misinterpreted the rules. Also, make sure that each entry has a title and artist statement, and educate any students who may want to skip this step. In case a family still needs to join your PTA, you could set up membership information nearby with a paper form and envelope to collect dues or a QR code to your virtual membership sign-up. Make it easier for them to check that off the list. Now that we have collected our entries, it's time to start judging. The judging process is used to determine which student entries will advance to the next round of judging and to award other recognition. We will review the judging process, including how to organize artwork and support your team of judges, as well as recommendations on how to rank scores and assign awards. Utilize the student entry form to organize your entries. All arts categories and grade divisions must be judged separately. Prior to judging, the coordinator should calculate the 20% of each group that will be advancing to the next level of judging. This will help the judges better decide which entries should advance. An example of this calculation would be to calculate 20% of your primary dance entries. Next, calculate 20% of your intermediate dance entries. Calculate 20% of your primary film entries, etc. Move through all your groups until you have them all calculated, and inform the judges of that number ahead of time. When there is only one entry in the group, that entry can advance to the next level of judging without being judged. In the event there are 1 to 5 entries in a group, the school may advance up to 1 entry to stay within the 20% rule. When there are 6+ entries, the percentage should be calculated and then always rounded up to the next whole number. 6 to 10 entries advance 2, 11 to 15 entries advance 3, etc. While figuring the percentages this way may give an overall percentage of more than 20%, this will be the fairest way to decide which students advance. Just as the standard grade divisions should be judged separately, the accessible arts division will be judged in the same fashion. The coordinator should calculate 20% of each arts category and grade division entered into the accessible arts division, 20% accessible arts primary dance, 20% accessible arts intermediate dance, 20% accessible arts primary film, etc. Start looking for judges now. To determine the number of judges needed, consider the number of entries received, the number of arts categories, and the type of entries being judged. When it comes to finding the right judges, be sure to have someone who has an interest and knowledge of the category, but remember that the Reflections program is not a contest. So, it will be important to find someone who understands a kid's point of view, and that the interpretation of the theme is more important than the technique. If a judge is connected to a student participant, or would know a student's work despite blind judging, the judge should remove him or herself from the judging process for the affected arts categories to prevent a conflict of interest. Teachers from the host school may know student work or may have a conflict of interest in judging, so it is better to invite teachers from another school that offers the Reflections program. Consider hosting your judging digitally. Once collected, the online review process will require some creative thinking due to the important step of anonymizing the students' submissions and providing judges with blinded pieces for review. If you used Google Forms or Google Drive for collection, consider creating a Google Sheet that includes the student's title of work, artist statement, and a link to the digital entry. Judges can utilize a digital scorecard and judge on their own time. Or use a streaming service like Zoom to try live judging with breakout rooms to provide judges with a private space to review the pieces in their respective categories. To keep your judging as impartial as possible, judges should not see the students' names but only the grade division, art category, title of the entry, and artist statement. You can omit the information if judging digitally and use a numbering system instead. If judging physically, you can simply fold the form in half to only show the pertinent information. Please remember to unfold the forms before advancing your entries. Entries should be judged on artistic merit, creativity, mastery of the medium, and interpretation of the theme. Mastery of the medium in the context of the Reflections program pertains to the level of skill the student demonstrates in the basic principles and techniques of the arts area. However, a well-developed concept is more important than technique. Entries should be judged primarily on how well the student uses his or her artistic vision to portray the theme. These charts offer a basic judging rubric to use in evaluating entries and a sample judging scorecard. With this rubric, each entry would have a total of no more than 40 possible points from each judge. Have judges record their points for each entry on a scorecard. Add the points from each judge and rank the artwork accordingly. If 2 entries are tied, the entry with the greater score for interpretation of the theme should receive higher recognition. If that does not resolve the tie, the judges will need to decide on the awards. Most local PTAs use the following award hierarchy, with the Award of Excellence advancing to the next level. We use these award levels instead of first, second, and third so that we can recognize more students. Some PTAs have also chosen to eliminate the participation level so that every student receives an award. You are welcome to determine different percentages for each award than what is suggested. Do what works best for your PTA. As long as 20% of the entries are advanced and all students receive recognition of some kind, there is no wrong way to celebrate your students. When you are done with judging, you are ready to complete the required local PTA reflections participation summary. This form will not only help Texas PTA keep track of how many students have participated in the program throughout the year, but it will also automatically email your advancing information to the next level of judging. Please ensure you are completing the form for local PTAs and not the council form. You will find the links you need on the Leader Resources page near the bottom under Reflections Judging in 8 easy steps. First, download an advancing entry spreadsheet and add your student information. If you have already utilized the spreadsheet to keep track of all your entries, make a new file that only includes the advancing entries. When you complete the online summary, one of the required items is to upload your advancing entry spreadsheet and include the name and email address for the coordinator at the next level of judging. If you do not know who that is or their email address, please reach out to Carrie Mays for assistance. There will also be a question asking for the number of students enrolled at your school. This doesn't have to be an official, most up-to-date number, but please do your best so we can better see the reach of the program. When you are done with judging, you are ready to complete the required local PTA reflections participation summary. This form will not only help Texas PTA keep track of how many students have participated in the program throughout the year, but it will also automatically email your advancing information to the next level of judging. Please ensure you are completing the form for local PTAs and not the council form. You will find the links you need on the Leader Resources page near the bottom under Reflections Judging in 8 easy steps. First, download an advancing entry spreadsheet and add the student information for only the advancing students. If you have already utilized the spreadsheet to keep track of all your entries, make a new file that only includes the advancing entries. Or if you utilized a Google form, export your Google form into a Google Sheet. When you complete the online summary, one of the required items is to upload your advancing entry spreadsheet or provide the Google Sheet link and include the name and email address for the coordinator at the next level of judging. If you do not know who that is or their email address, please reach out to Carrie Mays for assistance. There is also a question asking for the number of students enrolled at your school. This doesn't have to be an official, most up-to-date number, but please do your best so we can better see the reach of the program. If you have not heard from your council PTA since the beginning of the school year, or you haven't heard from them at all, reach out to them to confirm the date and location for advancing your entries. If you are not available to deliver the entries on the day or time they specify, have a backup person available. If you are advancing digital entries, please include the student's name, category, and age group in the file names. Abbreviations are allowed. Each entry will need to be accompanied by an electronic version of the official student entry form, and ensure that middle and high school music composition entries include a digital copy of the music score. If advancing physical entries, there are package specifications on the entry guidelines. You will only need to do this for the advancing entries. Phew! Finally, you are starting to see the light at the end of a busy 2-month tunnel. It's time to celebrate. Now is your chance to be creative too. Try to think of some new ways to celebrate and recognize your participants this year. Celebrating offers positive recognition and encouragement for students to feel more confident and engaged in their own learning. Celebration events also provide your PTA with an opportunity to engage all families and connect with the greater school community. Recognize all participating students in as many ways as possible. Public announcements, school events, community-wide events, PTA meetings, school board or city council meetings, etc. This will help with participation and support for reflections the following year. Keep the excitement going. Exhibit entries around the school or at local businesses to promote participation in the program. Protect student privacy by temporarily removing the student entry form and replacing it with basic information while on display. You can choose to go with traditional awards, trophies, or ribbons, but you could also think outside of the box. You could create an art prize pack or a gift of some kind. Maybe you have a local business that would like to donate gifts or coupons to the students. Your awards can be as creative as the program itself. Don't forget to thank those who helped make Reflections a success. Not only the students who entered, but also the students who helped to promote or administer the program. Give a shout out to your PTA and community volunteers for lending their time and talents. Thank your school personnel for including the program in their curricula and most likely helping their students with their entries. Huge props go to the judges for making the really tough award decisions. If you still hold an in-person judging, you could consider hosting a meal for the judges during a judging event. Did you have community partners donate prizes or exhibit space? Make sure everyone knows about all these great deeds and who came together to support your PTA. If you collected and advanced physical entries to the next level of judging, the entries may be returned to you at different times of the year. Return all artwork before the end of the school year, as some students graduate, move to another school, another city, or out of state. Texas PTA will return all physical entries to councils in April. They have not done so since 2020, but if National PTA were to decide to hold a physical exhibit, awarded photography and visual arts entries may be on display for 1 to 3 years. National PTA would return those entries following the close of any exhibits. While each level makes every attempt to return entries to the student in the same shape it was submitted, entries that advance throughout the levels may deteriorate or could be lost in shipping. This is another great argument to transition to a virtual program. Now that you have hosted the program, be sure to pass along any knowledge, tips, and tools that helped along the way. Take what you learned and improve your processes each year so that the program best suits your school, PTA, and families. Your program should only get better by reflecting on what went well and what can be improved. Get ready for the next year. The 2026 to 2027 theme will be, What My Culture Means to Me. This theme was chosen during last year's Reflections Theme Search Contest, suggested by Sophia Pardola from Wilton High School PTSA in Connecticut. Now that you have hosted the program, be sure to pass along any knowledge, tips, and tools that helped along the way. Take what you learned and improve your processes each year so that the program best suits your school, PTA, and families. Your program should only get better by reflecting on what went well and what can be improved. Get ready for the next year. Check the theme search webpage for the next theme. Did you know that your PTA can do so much more by hosting the Reflections program on your campus? The Reflections program also fits within the National PTA's School of Excellence Program Action Plan. Over 40 years of research show that increased family engagement is linked to school improvement and student achievement. By enrolling in this program, your PTA and school administrators are making a year-long commitment to identifying and implementing an action plan for school improvement. The program aims to provide a framework for PTAs to easily identify and implement best practices in family engagement. Build inclusive and welcoming school communities where all families can contribute to enriching the educational experience and overall well-being for all students. Help PTAs attract new, action-oriented PTA members who want to focus on the issues that affect our children the most. Provide step-by-step guidance and networking opportunities for PTAs to gain support and feedback. And celebrate awardees as national leaders in building effective family-school partnerships. I encourage you to read more on the National PTA website and consider if this is something your campus might be interested in pursuing. Here is one reason why the Reflections program is a meaningful addition. Art isn't just a way to express ourselves, it's a bridge that connects us. It allows us to understand, appreciate, and respect both the differences and similarities among people from various backgrounds or unique physical abilities. Moreover, it inspires us to create artworks reflecting our identity, emotions, and worldview. Reflections fosters art that can be a powerful tool and can help us learn from and engage with other families in a respectful and meaningful manner. PTA believes that celebrating family and student engagement should be done with intention and with best practices in mind, and we believe that Reflections provides an opportunity to do just that. We've said it already, but it is worth repeating. One of the biggest factors in student success is an engaged and supportive family, school, and community environment. Texas PTA's Connect programs help educate and empower school communities through video presentations from subject matter experts, handouts, and materials about the most pressing issues facing our kids. Current PTA leaders may download presentations on an array of topics, including everything needed to host a family engagement night, panel discussion, or PTA meeting about issues like mental wellness, vaping, financial literacy, and school safety, to name a few. All programs and panel discussions under the Connect brand include a recorded presentation from a subject matter expert, a one-page facilitator guide with suggested discussion questions, and optional activities. Additionally, most materials are available in both English and Spanish. PTA leaders are encouraged to invite the principal, assistant principal, school counselor, and/or school nurse to attend and participate as applicable. They can add information about district or campus programs and resources, and help answer questions parents might have. Thank you for stepping up to be a leader for your PTA and supporting the Reflections program. If you have any questions throughout the year, we are here to help. You can reach Carrie Mays, Texas PTA Director of Programs and Resources, at programs@txpta.org. We look forward to seeing all the creative ways your students will interpret this year's theme.